Morning everybody, my name's Chris, this is Let's Walk. Today I wanted to talk about the type 2 diabetes or weight loss drug Ozempic and the effects that it has on your life, just to give people an insight into what it's like to be on the drug. So a bit of background, I was diagnosed type 2 diabetes nearly 20 years ago, and for most of my life it's been controlled through exercise and diet. But about 18 months ago, I was struggling to control my fasting blood sugar. So after meals and while I was eating, not so bad, but I'd get up in the morning after 8 or 9 hours of fasting, or 10 or 12 hours of fasting, and I wasn't able to keep my blood sugars really under 8, 9, 10, they were always around that range. It wasn't that I was eating late. I would never have desserts, I'd always get just a cup of tea, no sugar, but for whatever reason, the next morning my blood sugars would always be high. So my specialist said Ozempic is the way to go. So I started on Ozempic. I didn't want to for a couple of reasons. One, nobody wants to stick a needle in themselves. And two, once you start on that drug, it's very, very hard to get off it. As it turns out, the needle part's no issue because it's not really a needle. It just goes in your stomach and you don't feel it. So the pain part of it's no issue. So I started on Ozempic. It had immediate side effects, some good, some bad. So I wanted to run through those with you today. So the reason why most people take Ozempic is to control or to trick the pancreas into creating insulin back into the body. And that's what Ozempic's main cause is to try and help with the diabetes. It's not actually a weight loss drug, that is a side effect. But that side effect means that a lot of people are trying to get it, and a lot of doctors are prescribing it as a weight loss option. And as new drugs come onto the market, which are actually the same as Ozempic, just branded differently and coloured differently, then Ozempic is becoming more and more available. Although having said that, in the 18 months I've been on it, at least 8 of those months, I would suggest, I will tell you, I haven't been able to get it. So what you end up doing is hoarding, getting multiple scripts from your doctor and hoarding it and keeping it in the fridge. And that's what I've been doing. I've always got at least a 6-month supply. So yeah, if you go to the chemist says there's no drugs available, then you can hoard it, put it in the fridge and keep it until you start to run a little low. So it's not ideal, and it is very, very hard to get. So the effect it had on me, well, the effect that everybody wants to know about is, do you lose weight? I can tell you the answer is yes, you do lose weight. So when I started on Ozempic, I ranged between, I'm 175 centimetres, and I ranged between 82 and 84 kilos. And I lost weight, and I now am around high 70s, 78 kilos is roughly what I weigh these days. So I lost probably 4 or 5 kilos. I would like to say I've lost it all around my stomach, but I didn't. You actually lose, in my case, I lost a lot of muscle mass. So yeah, lost weight in the face, the arms and the legs, my limbs became saggy. And I don't know whether that's because you lose weight very quickly or what the reason was, but that's where I lost the weight, and a bit around the stomach everywhere. You lose it all over, but for me the most noticeable body parts were my arms and my legs and my face that I lost the most weight in. So does it cause weight loss? Absolutely it causes weight loss. But that's not the reason why I was taking it. Does it help with controlling blood sugar? Absolutely it does. So that's a tick in my opinion. But there are other side effects, and they're the ones I really wanted to talk about today. And those side effects are still affecting me 18 months later. So the major side effect to Ozempic for me is nausea, continuous nausea. So I'm nauseous when I'm on the drug, when I wake up in the morning, through to when I go to sleep at night. There is a period in the middle of the day where that nausea goes away and hunger returns. But generally before breakfast, I'm nauseous. Eating takes the nausea away, and then 15 minutes later, I'm nauseous again. Same with dinner. One of the side effects of the drug is to stop you eating. And there's two ways it does that for me. The first way is it makes you nauseous, and the thought of food makes you want to throw up, basically. The second way is that it tricks you into feeling that you're full, and you can sit down to your favourite meal, have 2 mouthfuls of your favourite meal, and think, wow, I cannot put anything in my mouth. It's like you've been eating for an hour. So with that in mind, I've had to plan when I take the drug. I take the drug once a week, and I try and take it on a Sunday night, because from Sunday then to Friday, I know I'm going to be feeling really nauseous, and then those last couple of days, that nausea feeling does ease a little. And obviously on the weekend is when you're most likely to go out or spend time with the family or friends, or have a barbecue at home. So I try and plan it that way, and that tends to work for me. Then on Sunday night, I take the needle again after dinner, and the process starts all over again. Certainly eat a lot less. Certainly don't desire food like I used to. I used to love food and different types of food, and now food's more a chore than enjoyment. Another side effect is it binds you up, and it binds me up incredibly, to the point where I can be 4 or 5 days without going to the toilet. And then when you do go, it's all systems go for a day, and then it binds you up again. So there's medication that you can take for that. I don't like to take too many medications, so I have been prescribed laxative type medication that I don't take unless it absolutely is out of control. I don't think I've actually taken it at all since it's been diagnosed. For me, another side effect was a depressing side effect. I think because I love food so much, the fact that I wasn't able to enjoy what to me was an important time of the day, mealtime, made me a little depressed and a little sad. So that was a side effect I wasn't really expecting. And just something to be aware of. If you are someone who loves your food, who enjoys cooking and enjoys tasting what you've cooked, Ozempic's not going to help you, unfortunately. Another side effect that a lot of people get is that it can make you go to the toilet too much. That hasn't affected me. Like I said, I'm the complete opposite, so that's not something that I've experienced. So, Ozempic has been called a wonder drug. I prefer to call it a necessary evil. It makes me feel sick. I don't enjoy being on it. I would do anything to get off it. But unfortunately, in my situation, exercise, diet, etc., isn't something that assists me in my blood sugars going down at the moment. I'm fairly active. I walk around 50 kilometres a week. Still playing a bit of sport. Active every day, but my blood sugars, over my 3-month fasting, my blood sugars are actually pretty good. They're around the 6 to 6.2. But like I said, just this fasting blood sugar in the morning, and even fasting when I get the bloods done, is always around that 9 mark, which is too high. And being diagnosed with type 2 diabetes means, instead of your cholesterol being allowed to be around 4, it's got to be around 2. So you're immediately onto cholesterol medication, which can also have some nauseating effects. There's blood pressure medication, etc. So you end up on the 3 big drugs every day. So what effects they had, I was on those before I was on Ozempic, and they didn't have the same effects. The blood pressure medication makes you a little bit dizzy. Other than that, no nausea or anything like that. So that's my take on Ozempic. I would call it a necessary evil. I'd prefer not to be on it. I get annoyed when people like Robbie Williams say that they take it for their mental health as they like to be slim. I think what Robbie Williams doesn't get is that drug is not designed for people to lose weight. It's designed to help people with type 2 diabetes. And not everybody with type 2 diabetes is overweight. Your body controls whether you become a type 2 diabetes. What you put in your mouth can affect it, but it won't cause it. So anybody out there with type 2 diabetes who thinks they've got it because they've eaten the wrong foods, you're wrong. Your body becomes susceptible to type 2 diabetes through your body's natural causes, not through what you eat. Once you've been diagnosed, then absolutely you have to watch what you eat to make sure that the illness doesn't become overbearing and take over your life, which can happen. Hopefully the waves aren't too loud. This morning, it's a beautiful day, once again, or a beautiful morning. And turn around rather than crossing the creek and head back. So that's my take on Ozempic. If your doctor has diagnosed that you give Ozempic a try, absolutely do it. It will help you with your diabetes. But in my case, it's affected other things as well, and those things include nausea, etc. The other frustrating part, as I said, is it's really hard to get. And that's because a lot of people are taking it as a weight loss drug. And now that other options are becoming available, hopefully that will mean that it's a little easier to get for type 2 diabetes. But who knows? It may not, because ostensibly it's the same drug in different packaging, and they may just now make less Ozempic and more of the weight loss drug, which they get more money for. So let's just see whether Ozempic becomes available. But I know in the last 4 weeks, the 3 chemists I go to, all of them have been out of stock. So it seems like it's still hard to get. All right, so that's it for Let's Walk this morning. If you've got any comments, please make them down below. If you are on Ozempic and you want to make a comment on how it affects you, please do so. I'll see you on another walk. Cheers.